I'm going to take up a little bit of a tale in chapter 25 of The Promise Maker. I'm not going to read the whole chapter, I'm just going to give you a quick summary on what's going on here. But what's going on here is basically two rivals have come together. One is called Paddy Smith, the man who Frankie refers to as Da, and the other one is his rival, Whacker Golding, the shaved-head man, who at that particular time ruled the streets of Dublin. Was there a real Whacker Golding? Okay. Question asked. We'll come back to that some other time. However, in saying that, Frankie's now on his way out. He's running out of the tenement world. He has been given an invite to meet his sweetheart Jenny, who has come back to Dublin from England, and he's going to meet her under Cleary's clock at 7 o'clock. He's got notification from Mrs. Morgan, who told him to meet Jenny, and they were going to basically elope, run, abscond, run away, whatever word you want to use, across the sea to set up a new life in a new world for both of them. So we're going to take it up as he's basically leaving the house. At 6:30 p.m. on January the 8th, 1947, I left the house. I was hoping it was for the last time. The snow had fallen. Then it stopped, freezing everything in its path. The streets were desolate. I scanned the buildings, panning my eyes from right to left. Like a filmmaker standing behind a camera, the distant howl echoed. The sound you discover when you put a shell to your ear. I heard the noise of snow breaking under the weight of heavy boots that walked alone. Whacker stepped forward and came closer. He stopped. His coat was opened, his waistcoat closed, the collars of his shirt unbuttoned. He stood quietly with an intense expression, like a man examining art. Suddenly an army came from behind. It was the Animal Gang, dressed in their black caps and black shorts. I did not count them, but they must have been 50 strong. A melody rang out as more feet broke the snow. The song of war and the distant harmony of the charging noise of weaponry filled the air. I looked behind and saw my dad and the gang behind him marching in a triangle as others came from right to left. Now, Paddy, we meet on fair ground finally. We do. You did it, didn't you? You had Buster sent down the river. Now, Paddy, if I'd had me hand in it, sure he'd have gone down in bits. He'd have never surfaced again. It was you. Nah. But here, what about that time I did that job? You ran, didn't you? What would you have me do? Oh yeah, the old copper you killed. I forgot about that. Paddy, strange how I got nabbed. Only you, Paddy, and a few others knew where the money was buried. I was digging it up, and two little birdies found me. Coppers they were, Paddy. Coppers! Me dad's men moved slowly, like soldiers. Two shaven-head kids passed, holding the reins of their horse. I ran to the top of the steps of a house where I could view everything. Out of a nearby lane, Slasher's dog came, wagging its tail. Daisy May trailed behind. She wore a bright-coloured coat and high-heeled boots. She was leading a gang of youths who were wielding bars in their hands. Slasher took the lead. Good old Slasher. Whacker pointed a black bar towards me dad. Paddy! Paddy! We'll see who rules these streets. Go, lads! Take the heads of them all, he screamed. The war broke out. Bars and poles, sticks and knives clashing among fists and boots and headbutts galore. The church bells rang. I envisioned Snob's body, the priest, standing at the altar saying, "Our Father who art in heaven." A red-headed man sliced the right arm of a man in front of me. His flesh opened like a mouth. the blood, muscle and bone visible as a great splash of blood poured out. Hallowed be thy name, ding dong, the church bells rang. Me dad swung everything he had, punching man after man, pulling a bar from the back of his trousers. He started cracking heads, leaving trails of blood on the snow. He ran. He pulled a horse from the boys, mounted it, and tried to flee. Whacker took hold of the rein and pulled him to the ground. They fought with great force, mingled with deep hatred. Whacker got the better of him, punching him into a bloody pulp. I went running, but Daisy yanked me back with her right hand, slicing the throat of another man. The man placed his hand on the wound, and with the most fearful expression I'd ever seen, it was a flesh wound. Daisy hadn't got the right leverage. He ran screaming. Swiftly I shoved. Daisy's hand was holding the blade right up her back and pressed it against the wall. With my other hand, I shoved the knife to her own throat, touching her skin. Don't follow me. I wasn't going to hurt her. She knew that. Oh, now, there's a bold boy. I'm on you, Daisy. She let her head fall back and gazed at me. Go on, Frankie. Cut me deep. Silence. Her lips were the colour of blood. Her black painted eyes dazzling in the falling light. I smelt the aroma of her perfume. She liked perfume. French was her favourite. She saw the shocked look on my face. Madness is born with us. Some are honest, but most are liars, Frankie. I'm warning you. When I leave, don't follow me. I turned and saw me dad, dragging himself like a man pulling a chain behind him. He slipped between the buildings, plunging deeper into the gloomy laneway. I knew where he was going. He was heading up onto the roof of one of the buildings to find his gun. The fighting continued. Men and women came to the windows. Others stood by the doors. There was crushing, striving cries and shrieks. I pushed Daisy back to the wall and ran through the crowd. In front were a stream of people, the sound of fighting, hollowed like the wind in a storm. A hand gripped my shoulder. It was the priest Snob's body. Me da, father. Help him, please. Help him. He can't die and leave me with no knowledge of me ma's whereabouts. Stay here. I'm going over to the other side. In the midst of the tempest, Snob's body waded through, tossing men out of his way. Whacker stood in front of him. Where's you going, priest? Snob's body cracked him across the jaw. Whacker dropped like an empty sack. About my father's business, I heard Snob's body mutter. I trailed behind as I entered deep into the laneway. There was no sign of me dad. Then I looked up and saw them running across the roof. He came to the edge. The icy snow was thick on the roof. Dad, Dad! I roared. Snob's body shot a glance. Me dad turned as if he saw someone behind him. I heard a sudden thud as Paddy fell some 30 feet to the ground. His limbs jerked like a body hanging from the gallows rope. I stood over him, his body broken, his eyes black, blood flowing from his head. The fall had bashed in his brains. Snob's body's face lit up with compassion. He bent, took me dad's hand. Paddy. Now, Paddy, you have time to say the act of contrition. Do you want to get right, Paddy, before you go the way of all the earth? Enough, Francis. There's no time now. Can you hear me, Paddy? My dad nodded. The blood began to trickle from his mouth. Snob's body said, Say the act of contrition after me, Paddy. Oh my God, I am heartily sorry for offending thee, and I desirest all my sins to be clean because of thy punishments, but most of all because of I have offended thee, O God, who art all good and deserving all my love. I firmly resolve with the deep help of thy grace to sin no more, and to avoid the nearest occasion for sin. Into your hands I place my spirit, sweet Jesus. I watched me dad's lips mutter those words. It was the first time I ever saw him being sincere. Da, did you kill me, Ma?